mystery that has confounded doctors around the world.
My brother Alan got me into it. You build it, you fly it, you crash it.
After 40 years flying model planes, Lee had his first accident. He put his hand too close to the propeller, and he didn't just cut the engine.
When I got too far in, I cut the tip of my finger off. We don't know if it got chopped up or if it got cut off and thrown up on the roof because I was behind the building. We never could find it.
The entire fingertip was gone.
Cut off about that much.
That missing fingertip pointed to a miracle. Where once there was a bloody stub, sits a pristine digit, without so much as a scar, but with the same expressive capabilities.
I was worried I only could give people an eighth of a finger, but now I can give them a full finger.
The story of how Lee got his missing fingertip back sounds like science fiction, inspired by salamanders, assisted by pigs, and developed by two groundbreaking researchers, one of whom was Lee's brother Alan.
I had total trust in it. I expected him to regrow my finger, and he did. I'm not sure I ever thanked him for it.
The story of this astonishing invention really starts with the salamander. They're the superstars of limb regeneration. Lose a limb, and it grows right back. A carbon copy of what had been there before. Alan Spivak's fascination with salamanders started in university.
He came home from pre-med school one summer with 150 salamanders because he was working with this professor. And I had to feed them every 3 days with a little tweezer shaking a piece of hamburger next to their eye.
Alan became a leading researcher in regenerative medicine, which is how he met Stephen Badylak. His facility in Pittsburgh is like a modern Frankenstein's lab. Makes sense, since he shares the same ambition as the original mad scientist, to rebuild new life. This time, by getting the human body to regenerate its many parts as perfectly as a salamander does.
We can grow the whole human in 9 months. All we really need to do is figure out how to grow a part of that human.
Salamanders react differently to trauma than we do. Our bodies respond by scabbing and scarring.
If we didn't scar, we'd probably die. Bleed to death first or not be able to respond to the infections that invariably occur.
The salamander doesn't scar. It's evolved to grow new tissue instead. Dr. Badylak wants to reprogram the way our bodies react to trauma. And he's on to something big. Pig-sized big. Medical researchers love pigs. They can't regrow limbs, but they're invaluable in other ways.
There are certain things from a pig that you could put into a hurt human and not worry about it. We've been transplanting pig heart valves into people for a long time.
In Dr. Badylak's body shop, they're using a pig's bladder, an organ that can regenerate. It may not look pretty, but it contains something that can regrow parts of your body. They scrape away extra layers of tissue until they're left with this.
This is the matrix. The cells build this and they live within it. This is the extracellular matrix.
The extracellular matrix is like a scaffold that cells set up house in. All animals have it, including humans.
The extracellular matrix is the glue that holds cells together in every tissue and organ of your body. And it gives instructions to the cells, and the cells in turn give instruction to the matrix.
The pig's bladder is cheap and easily available, a waste product from the slaughterhouse, cleaned in special solutions and then dried. The matrix is shaped into strips or ground into powder. Put it where you're injured, and it somehow, almost magically, redirects what happens next.
So instead of the body thinking, all right, injury, let's form a scar, the body says, all right, injury, let's rebuild. And the matrix helps to jumpstart it in the let's rebuild pathway.
And that's what seems to have happened to Lee Spivak, one of the first to use this invention back in 2005. A gift from his big brother Alan, who has since passed away.
They sent me the material, just a little tube with powder inside it.
Lee wasn't sure what the mysterious powder was, but he trusted his brother.
And I always believed Alan. And what did I have to lose, really?
And in 4 weeks, he gained what he thought was lost forever. Sprinkled with the pig's matrix, his entire fingertip miraculously regrew.
The nail had no defects. It was contoured exactly right. It was like nothing had happened.
Even the new fingerprint was a perfect match for the old one, taken back in 1961 when Lee enlisted in the Army. It may not look like much, but a fingertip is incredibly complex.
Because you've got a fingernail, but underneath that is bone, blood vessels, nerves. You've got skin with a patterned fingerprint on it. All of this tissue needs to regrow in not only the right amount, but it's got to grow in the right pattern. You don't want something that's misshapen.
So Lee's new fingertip really was a major breakthrough. Now the research is making startling new advances. Could the same invention regenerate an entire limb? Marine Sergeant Ron Strang was injured on a tour of duty in Afghanistan when he took a step in the wrong direction.
I remember stopping, turning around, telling my enemy behind me to watch his step. And as soon as I turned my head back forward to start walking again is when the ID went off from my right side. And just kind of spun me around. I hit the ground and I just remember looking down and seeing my leg was blown up. And, when the blast came across, it took my thigh from the midway here to just below the hip.
Ron never expected to do this again. He'd lost half his quadriceps muscle. Treatment options were limited until he signed up for a clinical trial offering extracellular matrix to injured military personnel. It's still early going, but so far, so good.
It's just amazing. I didn't think anything like this would be even possible.
From a new fingertip to a new leg muscle, and we're barely getting started.
What we're going to learn, those same principles will apply to limbs. And eventually you get to actually an ethical problem. Because if we figure out how to regrow a whole limb, we've probably figured out how to regrow a whole human. The rate of advancement just continues to increase. The pace is incredible. And it's actually really exciting.
An invention that gives a whole new meaning to power suit.
Eventually, it will be part of all clothing, I'm convinced.
Saturday. The myth is painting with explosives. My prediction